The alarm bells rang through the research ship as Dr. Kevin Price rushed down the metal hallway. His boots made loud sounds on the floor as he ran toward the bridge. Behind him, a large German shepherd named Rex followed close, his claws clicking on the smooth surface. Kevin reached the bridge where his alien friends were already working. Captain Quental stood near the big screen, her crystal body shining under the bright lights. The tall creature moved her head to look at Kevin when he came in. "We got a distress call," she said in her voice that sounded like wind chimes, "from the planet below us." Kevin looked at the screen, showing a green and brown world spinning slowly in space. Next to him, Zicht clicked his insect-like arms together. The bug creature was always nervous about new things. "Humans crashed there 3 days ago," Zicht said, his words coming out in quick bursts. "Ship called New Horizon. We must help them fast." Glubmore, the frog-like alien, worked at his station with wet fingers moving over the controls. "I cannot reach them on radio," he said with his deep voice. "Something is wrong down there." Kevin felt Rex push against his leg. The dog always knew when something bad was happening. Kevin put his hand on Rex's head to calm him down. "We need to go down and find them," Kevin said. "I will get my gear ready." Captain Quental made a sound like breaking glass, which meant she was worried. "You want to bring the beast again?" she asked, looking at Rex. "Rex is not a beast," Kevin said for the 100th time. "He is my partner. He helps me with my work." The alien captain did not understand why humans kept dangerous animals as friends. Rex was bigger than Zicht and had sharp teeth. To her, the dog looked like a killer that could attack at any time. 1 hour later, their small ship flew down through the thick clouds. Kevin sat in his seat with Rex lying next to him. The dog wore a special suit that would protect him from the alien air. Kevin checked his own equipment one more time. "Landing in 5 minutes," said the pilot, another crystal being named Veltar. Through the window, Kevin could see a forest with huge trees. The leaves were purple and blue instead of green. Strange birds with 4 wings flew between the branches. Everything looked peaceful from up high. The ship touched down in a clearing near some metal pieces scattered on the ground. Kevin could see parts of the crashed human ship everywhere. Some pieces were stuck in trees, others buried in the soft ground. "Life signs over there," Glubmore said, pointing toward a group of rocks. 3 humans alive." Kevin felt happy but also worried. If only 3 humans were alive, what happened to the others? They left the ship wearing their protective suits. Rex stayed close to Kevin as they walked through the alien grass. The ground felt soft under their feet, like walking on a thick carpet. Captain Quental held a weapon in her crystal hands. Zicht had 2 guns ready, one in each arm. They moved carefully, looking around for danger. "Hello?" Kevin called out. "This is a rescue team," a voice answered from behind the rocks. "Over here." "We are here." They found 3 humans hiding in a small cave made from fallen rocks. Captain Lisa Morgan came out first. She was dirty and tired, with cuts on her face. Behind her came Tony Baker, a young man with scared eyes, and Amy Walsh, who was helping Tony walk. "Thank God you found us," Lisa said, her voice shaking. "We thought we were going to die here." "What happened to your ship?" Kevin asked as Amy checked Tony's hurt leg. "We were attacked," Lisa said, looking around nervously, "by things in the forest. Huge things with too many legs and teeth like knives." Zicht made a scared sound with his mouth parts. "Predators," he said. "We should leave now," but Rex was acting strange. The dog was not scared like Kevin expected. Instead, Rex looked excited. He sniffed the air and made small noises in his throat. His tail moved back and forth slowly. "Rex smells something," Kevin said, "but he is not afraid." Amy finished helping Tony and looked at Rex with surprise. "That is a dog," she said. "How did you get a dog up here?" "Rex helps me with my research," Kevin explained. "He is very smart." As the sun went down, the forest became dark. Strange sounds came from between the trees. The aliens got their weapons ready and stood back to back. "We need to get to the ship fast," Captain Quental said. But it was too late. Yellow eyes appeared in the darkness around them. Big shapes moved between the trees, circling them like hunters. Kevin could hear breathing sounds and the soft steps of large feet. "Shadow moths," Lisa whispered. "That is what we called them. They hunt in groups." The first creature stepped into the light from their lamps. Kevin had never seen anything like it. The animal was as big as a horse but built like a wolf. It had 6 strong legs and a long tail. Its head was huge with sharp teeth showing in its mouth. Dark fur covered its body and bright yellow eyes watched them without blinking. More creatures came out of the darkness. Kevin counted 8 of them, all big and scary-looking. The aliens pointed their weapons at the beasts, ready to fight, but Rex did something nobody expected. The dog walked forward toward the creatures, his body relaxed and friendly. He made a soft sound in his throat, the same sound he made when he met other dogs back on Earth. "Rex, no," Kevin called out. The biggest shadow maw, a female with scars on her face, stopped moving. She tilted her head and looked at Rex with curious eyes. Then she made a sound back like a deep rumble in her chest. Kevin felt his heart beating fast. Rex was talking to the alien predator, and somehow it was answering back. "Impossible," Zikth whispered. "The beast is communicating with the monsters." Kevin watched as Rex and the scarred female continued their strange conversation. The other shadow maws stayed back but did not attack. They seemed to be waiting to see what their leader would do. "They are not mindless killers," Kevin said quietly. "They are smart. Like wolves back on Earth." Captain Quental kept her weapon ready but looked confused. "Your animal shows no fear," she said. "How is this possible?" Kevin smiled as he watched Rex slowly approach the alien predator. "Because to Rex they are not monsters," he said. "They are just very big dogs." Night came fast on the alien world. The 2 moons in the sky gave off a pale blue light that made everything look strange and scary. The shadow maws had not attacked, but they had not left either. They sat in a circle around the humans and aliens, watching and waiting. Kevin could not sleep. He sat near their small fire, watching Rex lie calmly next to him. The dog did not seem worried about the big predators around them. Every few minutes, Rex would lift his head and make a soft sound toward the creatures. The scarred female, who Kevin had started calling Luna, would answer back with her own low rumble. "This is madness," Zikth said, his insect body shaking with fear. "We are surrounded by killers." Captain Quental had not put down her weapon all night. Her crystal body reflected the firelight in strange patterns. "We should call for backup," she said. "Orbital strike would clear these beasts." "No," Kevin said firmly. "Look at them. Really look." Lisa Morgan sat nearby, cleaning dirt from her cuts. "Kevin is right," she said quietly. "When they attacked our ship, it was not random. They worked together like a team. They had a plan." Tony Baker nodded, wincing as Amy Walsh put medicine on his hurt leg. "They separated us from our weapons first," he said. "Then they herded us toward the rocks. They could have killed us, but they did not." Amy looked up from her work. "It was like they wanted to trap us, not eat us." Kevin watched Luna as she groomed one of the smaller shadow maws. The big female was clearly the leader, but she was gentle with the others. She reminded Kevin of how Rex acted with puppies back on Earth. "They have a family structure," Kevin said. "Luna there is the alpha female. See how the others come to her for comfort?" Glubmore made a worried sound with his throat. "Family or not, they are still dangerous. My people know about pack hunters. They are cunning and cruel." "Maybe," Kevin said. "But so are wolves, and humans learned to live with them thousands of years ago." As the night went on, Kevin noticed more things about the shadow maws. They took turns watching the group like guards on duty. The smaller ones played together, rolling and chasing each other like puppies. When one of them got too close to the fire, Luna made a sharp sound and it backed away quickly. "They are teaching their young," Kevin said with excitement, "just like dogs do." Rex suddenly stood up and walked toward Luna. The aliens tensed, ready to shoot, but Kevin held up his hand to stop them. The dog approached the big predator slowly, his head down to show he was not a threat. Luna watched Rex come closer. When he was just a few feet away, she lowered her own head. The 2 animals sniffed each other carefully. Then Luna did something amazing. She lay down on her belly, making herself smaller and less scary. Rex walked up to her and gently touched her nose with his own. Luna made a happy rumbling sound and her tail moved back and forth in the dirt. "Incredible," Amy whispered. "She's being friendly." Kevin felt tears in his eyes. "Rex just made first contact with an alien species," he said. "And he did it the same way dogs have been making friends for thousands of years." Tony pulled out a small camera and started recording. "We need to document this," he said. "Nobody back home will believe it." Over the next few hours, more shadow maws came forward to meet Rex. Each one was careful and polite, following the example Luna had set. Rex greeted each of them like he would greet dogs in a park back on Earth. When morning came, Kevin made a decision that shocked everyone. He stood up and walked slowly toward Luna, his hands empty and open. "Kevin, no!" Captain Quental shouted. You will be killed. But Luna just watched him approach. When Kevin was close enough, he sat down in the dirt near her. The big predator studied him with her intelligent yellow eyes. Kevin remembered how he trained Rex as a puppy. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a food bar. He broke off a small piece and held it out to Luna. The shadow maw sniffed the food carefully. Then, very gently, she took it from Kevin's hand with her lips, being careful not to bite him with her sharp teeth. She is being gentle on purpose, Kevin said to the others. She knows she could hurt me, so she is trying not to. Luna chewed the food and made a pleased sound. Kevin gave her another piece and she accepted it happily. Lisa Morgan stood up and walked over to join Kevin. If you are crazy, then I am crazy too, she said. She sat down next to Kevin and held out her own hand to Luna. The big predator sniffed Lisa's hand and then gently licked it with her rough tongue. Lisa laughed with surprise and joy. One by one, the other humans joined them. Amy sat down with a smaller shadow maw and started checking it for injuries, just like she would with a hurt dog. Tony began taking pictures of the creature's eyes, nose, and teeth, documenting their features. The aliens watched in horror as their human companions treated the deadly predators like pets. Sixth recorded everything on his computer, but his hands shook as he worked. This goes against everything we know about dangerous species, Captain Quental said. Humans must have a death wish. But Kevin was not thinking about death. He was thinking about life and how different species could learn to understand each other. As he sat with Luna and watched Rex play with the young shadow maws, he realized something important. These creatures were not monsters. They were just animals trying to survive on their world, the same way wolves survived on Earth. And if humans could turn wolves into dogs over thousands of years, maybe they could learn to live with shadow maws too. The sun rose higher and the pack began to move. Luna stood up and looked at Kevin. She made a series of sounds like she was trying to tell him something important. Rex barked once and started walking toward the forest. Luna followed him, then looked back at Kevin. I think they want us to follow them, Kevin said. That is suicide, Sixth said. But Kevin was already standing up. Maybe, he said. Or maybe they want to show us something. Either way, we need to find out. The Shadow Maw pack led them deeper into the purple forest. Kevin walked beside Luna, while Rex ran ahead playing with two young Shadow Maws who seemed to think the Earth Dog was the most interesting thing they had ever seen. The alien crew members stayed close together, weapons ready but not aimed. Where are they taking us? Clubmore asked nervously. I think they want to show us their home, Kevin said, watching how Luna kept looking back to make sure the humans were following safely. After an hour of walking, they reached a clearing where the trees had been cut down. But something was wrong with this place. The ground was covered with thick, slimy vines that choked out all other plants. The vines had sharp thorns and gave off a bad smell that made everyone cough. Luna led them to the edge of the clearing and made angry sounds at the vines. She clawed at them, but the thorns cut her paws and she had to back away. They hate this stuff, Tony said, taking pictures of the strange plants. Look how upset they are. Amy knelt down and collected samples of the vines in small containers. These are not native to this planet, she said after studying them. The cell structure is all wrong. Kevin watched as Luna tried again and again to destroy the vines, but they were too thick and too sharp. Other Shadow Maws joined her, but they all got hurt trying to fight the plants. This is why they are so territorial, Kevin realized. They are not being aggressive. They are trying to protect their world from an invasion. Lisa Morgan pulled out her scanner and ran it over the clearing. These plants are spreading fast, she said. At this rate, they will cover the whole forest in a few years. Captain Quental made a worried sound. If the ecosystem fails, all life on this planet will die. Kevin looked at Luna, who was licking her cut paws. An idea formed in his mind. What if we help them? He said. Help them? Zicht asked. Help the monsters? They are not monsters, Kevin said firmly. They are intelligent beings trying to save their home, and we have the technology to do what they cannot. Amy stood up with her samples. I could analyze these plants, she said. Maybe find a way to kill them without hurting the native ecosystem. Tony nodded excitedly.
I could build some tools to help clear the vines safely. Lisa looked around at the devastated clearing, then at Luna, who was watching them with hopeful eyes.
It is worth a try, she said. We are stuck here anyway until rescue comes. Over the next few days, the humans worked with the Shadow Maw pack in a way that amazed the alien observers. Amy discovered that the invasive vines were from another galaxy, probably brought by an old terraforming ship that crashed centuries ago. She created a biological agent that would dissolve the vines but leave native plants alone. Tony built special tools that could cut through the thorns without hurting the shadow moths. He showed Luna how to use a long pole with a blade on the end. The big predator learned quickly and soon was teaching other pack members. Kevin worked on communication. He discovered that the shadow moths used different sounds for different meanings. A low rumble meant, "Come here." A sharp bark meant, "Danger." A soft whine meant, "I need help." Most amazing of all, Rex became the bridge between species. The Earth Dog seemed to understand both human words and shadow moth sounds. He would translate between Kevin and Luna, helping them work together. "This is impossible," Captain Quental said as she watched Kevin scratch Luna behind her ears. The massive predator was making happy sounds and her tail was wagging like a giant dog. "That creature could kill him with one bite." "But she will not," Kevin said. "Because we are pack now. She protects us and we protect her." The aliens could not understand how humans could trust such dangerous animals. To them, the shadow moths looked like nightmares with their sharp teeth and powerful claws. But the humans saw past the scary appearance to the intelligence and loyalty underneath. Jake Morrison, the security chief who had survived the crash, started training with a young male shadow moth he named Buddy. The creature was eager to learn and soon was helping Jake patrol the area around their camp. "He is better than any guard dog," Jake said as Buddy brought him a stick that smelled like strangers. "His senses are incredible." Amy made another breakthrough when she successfully treated an injured shadow moth pup. The little one had cut its paw on some metal from the crashed ship. Amy cleaned the wound and bandaged it while the entire pack watched nervously. When she was done, the pup licked her face with its small tongue. The pack made happy sounds and came forward to sniff Amy and gently touch her with their noses. "They are thanking me," Amy said with tears in her eyes. "They understand that I helped their baby." Zeke recorded everything with scientific fascination but growing concern. "Humans show no proper fear response," he noted in his reports. "They treat apex predators like domestic companions. This suggests severe dysfunction in their survival instincts." But Kevin did not think it was dysfunction. He thought it was evolution. Humans had survived on Earth by making friends with wolves. Now they were doing the same thing on an alien world with alien wolves. The real test came when more shadow moths arrived. A group of 20 newcomers approached the clearing, growling and showing their teeth. Luna and her pack stood between the strangers and the humans, protecting their new friends. "Territorial dispute?" Lisa said, watching the tense confrontation. "The newcomers do not trust us." Kevin walked forward slowly, Rex at his side. The new shadow moth snarled at him, but Luna moved to stand next to Kevin. She made a series of complex sounds to the strangers. Rex added his own barks and whines, somehow supporting what Luna was saying. The lead stranger, a huge male with battle scars, listened carefully. Then Kevin did something that shocked everyone. He pulled out a food bar and offered it to the scary stranger. The big male sniffed it suspiciously, then looked at Luna. She made encouraging sounds. The stranger gently took the food from Kevin's hand and ate it. Then he sat down, no longer threatening. "Incredible," Glubmore whispered. "The human just made peace with a hostile pack leader using food and trust." Within hours, the new shadow moths were integrated into the group. They helped clear more vines and learned to work with the humans. Soon there were 40 shadow moths working alongside 6 humans to restore their world. The aliens watched in amazement as their human colleagues treated the massive predators like beloved pets. Kevin played fetch with Luna using a large stick. Amy gave belly rubs to the smaller shadow moths. Tony built toys for the young ones to play with. "To us, they are monsters," Captain Quintal said, watching a shadow moth pup sleep curled up against Rex. "But to humans, they are just good boys." Kevin smiled as he scratched Luna behind her ears. "Every dog was once a wolf," he said. "It just takes patience, understanding, and a lot of love." The ground shook as something massive moved through the forest. Kevin felt the vibrations through his boots as he worked with Luna to clear another section of invasive vines. All around them, the shadow moths stopped what they were doing and looked toward the trees with worried expressions. Luna made a sound Kevin had never heard before. It was part whine, part growl, and full of complex emotions. The other shadow moths gathered close together, the adults protecting the young ones. "What is wrong with them?" Amy asked, watching the pack's behavior change completely. Rex was acting strange too. The Earth Dog's ears were up and his tail was stiff. He was not scared, but he was very alert, like when he sensed another big dog approaching their territory back home. Then they saw it. The creature that emerged from the purple forest was twice the size of Luna. Its shoulders reached Kevin's chest and its head was as big as a small car. Dark fur covered its massive body, and bright yellow eyes studied the clearing with ancient intelligence. The alien crew members immediately raised their weapons, but their hands shook with fear. Sixth made panicked clicking sounds with his mouthparts. Captain Quintal's crystal body flashed with alarm colors. "Evacuation protocol now," she commanded. "That thing will kill us all." But Kevin noticed something important. The giant shadow maw was not attacking. It stood at the edge of the clearing, watching them carefully. Its body language was not aggressive. It was cautious, almost nervous. Luna made another complex sound toward the giant. The big creature answered with a deep rumble that Kevin felt in his chest. Then Luna did something amazing. She walked slowly toward the giant, her head low and her tail moving in a friendly way. "She knows him," Kevin said quietly. "Look at how she is acting." The giant lowered his massive head and gently touched noses with Luna. She made happy sounds and rubbed against his chest like a house cat. The other shadow maws relaxed and began approaching the newcomer with joy. "Family reunion," Lisa said with wonder. "That is her mate." Kevin watched the interaction with growing understanding. The giant male was clearly the alpha of all the local packs, but he was not a tyrant. He greeted each shadow maw with gentle care, paying special attention to the young ones. When the giant noticed the humans, he became very still. His yellow eyes studied each person carefully, then focused on Rex. The Earth Dog stepped forward slowly, showing no fear of the massive predator. Rex made the same greeting sounds he had used with Luna weeks ago. The giant tilted his head and listened. Then he looked at Luna, who made encouraging noises. "They are talking about us," Kevin realized. "Luna is telling him we are friends." Tony was recording everything with shaking hands. "That thing could eat all of us and still be hungry," he whispered. But Kevin saw something else in the giant's eyes. Intelligence, yes, and power beyond measure, but also something that reminded him of old dogs he had known. Wisdom, patience, and a deep protective instinct. "I am going to approach him," Kevin said. "Kevin, no," Amy shouted. "That is suicide." The alien crew members thought Kevin had lost his mind completely. Captain Quintal ordered him to stop, but Kevin was already walking forward. Rex walked beside him, completely calm and confident. The giant shadow maw watched them approach, his massive head following their movement. When they were 10 feet away, Kevin stopped and sat down in the dirt. The giant studied Kevin for a long moment. Then he looked at Rex, who sat down next to his human friend. Luna came over and sat next to the giant, adding her own soft sounds to whatever conversation was happening. Slowly, carefully, the giant shadow maw lowered himself to the ground. Even lying down, his head was level with Kevin's chest. Kevin could see the scars on his muzzle and the wisdom in his ancient eyes. Kevin reached into his pocket and pulled out a food bar. He broke it in half and offered a piece to the giant. The huge creature sniffed it carefully, then looked at Luna again. She made encouraging sounds. The giant opened his mouth, revealing teeth the size of daggers. Kevin's hand looked tiny next to those massive jaws. But when the creature took the food, he was incredibly gentle, barely touching Kevin's palm with his lips. "Good boy," Kevin said softly, using the same tone he used with Rex. The giant's ears moved forward and his tail gave a small wag. He had understood the kindness in Kevin's voice, even if he did not know the words. "Impossible," Zixth whispered. The human just befriended an apex predator. Over the next hour, the other humans slowly joined Kevin. The giant, who they started calling Zeus, accepted each person with careful dignity. He was especially gentle with Amy, somehow understanding that she was smaller and more fragile. Zeus showed them why he had been away from the pack for so long. He led them deeper into the forest to a massive crater filled with strange metal structures. Ancient machines hummed with alien power, pumping the invasive vines across the landscape. "Terraforming station," Lisa said, scanning the equipment. "This is where the plague plants are coming from." The crater was filled with hundreds of dead shadow maws. Zeus led them to a pile of bones and made sad sounds. Kevin realized these were the remains of pack members who had died trying to destroy the machines over many generations. They have been fighting this thing for centuries, Kevin said, losing family members every time they tried to stop it. Zeus showed them claw marks on the metal walls where shadow maws had tried to break the machines. The marks were deep, but the alien metal was too strong. Generations of brave shadow maws had died trying to save their world. Amy analyzed the machines and found their weakness. The power core is shielded, but there is a control panel, she said. If we can access it, we can shut the whole system down. But the control panel was in the center of the crater, surrounded by defensive systems that had killed so many shadow maws. The machines shot energy beams at anything that came too close. Zeus made frustrated sounds as he showed them the killing field. He had lost so many friends and family members to those deadly beams. We can do what you could not, Kevin told Zeus, scratching the giant behind his enormous ears. We have tools you do not have. Tony worked with Jake to build a shielded suit that could protect someone from the energy beams. The plan was dangerous, but it was their only chance to stop the terraforming station. I will go, Kevin said, but Zeus made negative sounds and stepped in front of Kevin. The giant shadow maw was not going to let his new friend risk his life. He wants to protect me, Kevin said with amazement. This creature that could crush me like a bug wants to keep me safe. Rex barked agreement with Zeus. Even the Earth Dog thought Kevin should not take the risk. In the end, it was Jake who wore the suit and crawled through the deadly crater. Zeus and Luna watched nervously as the human soldier made his way to the control panel. When energy beams hit the shield, the shadow maws whined with worry. Jake reached the controls and began shutting down the ancient systems. One by one, the machines went quiet. The pumps that had spread poison across the planet for centuries finally stopped working. Zeus threw back his massive head and howled with joy. The sound was picked up by every shadow maw in the forest, creating a chorus of celebration that echoed for miles. As Jake made his way back safely, Zeus did something no one expected. The giant predator gently picked up Kevin in his mouth and carried him like a puppy, keeping him safe from any last dangers in the crater. The apex predator just adopted a human, Captain Quental said in disbelief. Kevin laughed as Zeus carefully set him down. No, he said, scratching the giant's chin. We adopted each other. 6 months later, the planet looked like a completely different world. Where once there had been dying forests choked with alien vines, now healthy purple trees grew tall toward the sky. Native flowers bloomed in colors that had not been seen for centuries. The air smelled clean and fresh. Kevin stood on the observation deck of the new research station, watching Zeus play with a group of human children who had arrived with the second wave of colonists. The massive shadow maw was incredibly gentle, letting the kids climb on his back and hide under his belly. Their laughter mixed with his happy rumbling sounds. It still amazes me, said Dr. Nancy Foster, the environmental engineer who had led the ecosystem restoration project. 6 months ago, everyone thought those creatures were monsters. Kevin scratched Rex behind the ears as his faithful dog watched the play session below. They were never monsters, he said. They were just misunderstood. The colony had grown to over 300 humans, each one paired with at least one shadow maw partner. The bonding process was no longer surprising. Humans and shadow maws seemed naturally compatible, like they had been meant to work together. Luna approached the deck with her latest litter of pups. 3 fuzzy babies tumbled around her feet, playing with toys that Tony had built for them. Amy knelt down to check each pup's health, a routine the mother welcomed gladly. All healthy, Amy announced, though this little one has quite an appetite. The smallest pup had attached itself to Amy's boot and was gently chewing on the laces. Amy laughed and picked up the tiny shadow maw, who immediately fell asleep in her arms. Looks like you have been chosen, Kevin said. Amy smiled as she cuddled the sleeping pup. I guess Midnight and I are partners now. The communication breakthrough had come when Pete Johnson, a linguistics expert from the second colony ship, had worked with the shadow maws to create a basic translation system. The aliens could now express complex ideas through combinations of sounds, body language, and simple picture symbols. Morning patrol report, Luna said through the translator device, her sounds converted into human speech. Forest sectors 7 through 12 are clear. New growth is strong. Thank you, Luna, Kevin replied. The device changed his words into shadow maw sounds that she could understand. The real surprise had come when Zeus demonstrated that the shadow maws had their own technology. The giant alpha led them to underground chambers where the pack had preserved ancient knowledge. They had maps of their world, records of their history, and even primitive tools. They are not just intelligent animals, Carl Stevens, the colony's pilot, had realized. They are a sapient species with their own civilization. The Shadow Maws had been fighting the terraforming invasion for over 1,000 years, keeping detailed records of their losses and strategies. They had known the alien machines were the source of the plague, but lacked the technology to destroy them. "We saved each other," Zeus had told them through the translator. "You gave us tools. We gave you home." The partnership had benefits neither species had expected. Shadow Maws were incredible hunters and trackers, able to find resources and dangers that human sensors missed. Humans provided technology and medical knowledge that helped the pack flourish. Children born in the colony grew up bilingual, speaking both human languages and Shadow Maw sounds. They played with Shadow Maw pups as naturally as children on Earth played with puppies. Today was a special day. Ships from the Galactic Council were arriving to investigate reports of humans consorting with apex predators. The alien representatives had come expecting to find a disaster. Instead, they found a thriving civilization. Captain Quental had stayed to document the colony's development. Her reports to the Galactic Council had been met with disbelief and concern. Now she stood with Kevin as the alien ships landed in the main clearing. "They will not understand," she said, her crystal body flickering with worry. "To most species, what you have done here is impossible." 3 alien representatives emerged from the lead ship. Zikth scuttled forward to greet them, his insect body vibrating with nervousness. Behind him came a tall, graceful being with silver skin and 6 arms. The third alien was a floating jellyfish-like creature that communicated through color changes. "I am Council Representative Thysandra," the silver being said through her translator. "We are here to investigate reports of humans domesticating Class Omega predators." Kevin stepped forward with Rex at his side and Luna walking calmly beside them. The alien representatives immediately backed away when they saw the massive Shadow Maw. "There has been no domestication," Kevin said calmly. "This is Luna. She is my partner and friend." Luna sat down and spoke through her translator device. "Greetings, star travelers. Welcome to our world." The floating jellyfish flashed bright red, which Kevin had learned meant extreme alarm. The silver representative's 6 arms trembled as she stared at Luna. "The predator speaks," Thysandra whispered. "This is impossible." "Not impossible," said a new voice. Zeus emerged from the forest with a group of human children riding on his back. The giant Shadow Maw carefully lowered them to the ground before approaching the alien visitors. "I am Zeus, Alpha of the Mountain Packs," the massive creature said through his translator. "These humans are our pack brothers." The alien representatives were speechless as more Shadow Maws emerged from the forest. Each one was paired with human partners who greeted them with obvious affection. Children ran up to hug their Shadow Maw friends. Adults scratched alien ears and were rewarded with happy tail wags. This defies all xenobiological theory, the jellyfish being flashed in rapid color patterns. Apex predators cannot form interspecies bonds. Unless, Kevin said quietly, one of the species is also an apex predator. The truth hit the alien representatives like a physical blow. They looked at the humans with new understanding and growing fear. "Humans are predators," Thysandra said, her voice barely a whisper. "Persistence hunters," Kevin confirmed. "We evolved alongside wolves on our world. We learned to hunt together, to protect each other, to share resources. Bonding with pack hunters is not strange for us. It is natural." Amy approached with Midnight, now grown into a sleek young Shadow Maw. "We do not see monsters when we look at them," she said, scratching behind Midnight's ears. "We see family." The alien observers spent 3 days studying the colony. They watched humans and Shadow Maws work together to build new structures. They saw the incredible coordination during hunting expeditions. They documented the complex social bonds that had formed between species. On the final day, little Sarah Kim, the 6-year-old daughter of the chief botanist, gave a demonstration that shocked everyone. She sat with Zeus and had a complete conversation in Shadow Maw sounds, no translator needed. The giant predator listened patiently as she told him about her day, then responded with gentle rumbles that made her giggle. "The human child communicates fluently with the apex predator," Zikth noted in his report. "She shows no fear, and the creature protects her as if she were his own offspring." Representative Thysaandra watched Sarah hug Zeus's massive head and realized something profound. Humans do not conquer other predators, she said. They adopt them. When the Galactic Council ships prepared to leave, they carried with them a complete record of humanity's unique gift. The ability to form pack bonds with any creature willing to accept them, the capacity to see past fear and find friendship. Zeus gave a farewell howl that was picked up by hundreds of shadow maws across the planet. The sound echoed through the forest as the alien ships rose into the sky. What will they decide? Luna asked through her translator. Kevin scratched her behind the ears, a gesture that never failed to make her happy. They will realize that humans do not create monsters, he said. We create friends, Rex barked agreement, and Zeus added his own rumbling laugh. Around them, the impossible colony continued to thrive, proof that the universe was full of good boys just waiting to be discovered. As the alien ships disappeared into space, Kevin looked out over their world and smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new species to meet, and new friends to make. And somewhere out there among the stars, other packs were waiting for humans to teach them the most important lesson of all. Every monster was just a good boy in disguise.